Hey guys, welcome to the garage. So this is my 2014 Honda CRF 125F. I've had this about a year, and I think it's come with the original tires on it. The original tires, 9 years old, they're worn down. I need to put new tires on it. This is the new front one. This is the small wheel version, so this has the 14 and 17 inch wheels. And I need to replace this. Well, if you see this behind me, this is my tire changing machine. I got this 3 or 4 months ago. And I've been anxious to see how well or if this can do these dirt bike tires, because if you ever tried changing a dirt bike tire or even a tube and using the spoons and the tire irons, oh, it's such a headache. I dread doing that. And so now that I have a tire machine, I have these adapters on there. I want to see if I can change this and see how easy or hard it's going to be and just kind of show you the process. So let's get started. All right, so first step, I got this up on my stand. I'm just going to take off the front wheel. It's a 19 millimeter bolt and then a 19 millimeter nut and 14 millimeter bolt. So I'm just going to take this off. The front's a lot easier than the back, because the back you have to take apart the whole chain, brake assembly. Once I take this bolt out, it should just drop out. So I'm just going to pound this bolt out like that. Boom, look at that, guys. Super simple. So here's the table of my mounting machine. This can do up to 26-inch rims. It can clamp as small as a 14-inch. This is a 17-inch wheel. However, see with this sprocket or the brake disc in the way, I have these, they're called motorcycle ATV adapters. And so what it's doing is it's lifting the mounting points higher. Normally it would be down here. And so this is going to make it so the wheel is going to be higher off of the table, so it'll be able to accommodate for this disc. All right, valve core is removed. Now this should be completely deflated. All right, so what I did here is actually just I clamped the brake disc, and so I'm guessing that's going to be okay, because this tire doesn't give me a lot. Even though I've got it deflated, it's still kind of stiff because it is a smaller sidewall tire, and it'd be harder to clamp this thing. So I'm going to see if that works, if I can just clamp this brake disc rotor. All right, so the point I'm at right here, I had to lube up this bead right here in the rim. I had to get my tire spoon and pull the top bead over the D-mount head here. So I got that over there. Now I can spin this. I want to make sure my valve stem's right here. I don't want to tear the tube. So let's see here. Let's pull the spoon out. And this just has a small sidewall, so it was hard to pull up over this mount head, but with some lubrication, it did just fine. Okay, so we got that out. Take the top beads off. There was a little grommet over the valve stem. I got that removed. Okay, I just pressed with my tire spoon. I just pulled the valve stem out of the hole here. So now I'll be able to get in the spoon. I want to pull the bottom bead up so that I can. All right, I got the bottom bead up over the head, and now I'm going to spin the table, and it'll take the bottom bead off. Okay, so we got that out. I am curious to see if I damage the tube. That's the challenge with these dirt bike tires, is you have a tube inside, and making sure you don't damage the tube is the first challenge. So I'm going to take the tube out. I'm going to test it, make sure it holds air. Tire is off. Let's test the tube, make sure the tube's still good. Last thing I want to do is put a punctured tube on here and then have to do this all over again. So all right, with this inflated, I can just kind of move my hand along here, and I could fill any holes or errors if they were coming out, because this is pretty inflated. So far, feels pretty good. The new tires that I bought came with replacement tubes. I don't want to, if this one's still good, I want to reuse this one and keep that one as a spare. So before I put the tire and tube back on the rim, I want to just inflate this while it's inside of the tire, just to like have it spread out a little bit so it's not twisted, and kind of expands inside there, so like that. This is where you can get, the pinch flats in these things, and so we just want to make sure we're. All right, what I want to do next, I just want to put some. This is just tire lube here. I just want to put this on the bead. So now I just want to take my valve stem, line it up to the valve stem hole inside the rim right here. All right, I'm going to put the valve stem through the valve hole here, and I just want to screw on the little nut. There's a retaining nut on the inside and the outside, so this will help at least keep the valve stem through the hole. So I want to get the tire kind of started on its own as much as I can. Okay, move this in position here. All right, so one thing I had to do is I had to get the bottom bead on the tube. I had to use a tire spoon to kind of just pop the bead on in one spot. So the bottom bead's on. You can see the top bead is loose here. I re-lubricated it here. And what I want to do now is I want to use the mounting head to get this bead on. This bead's the hardest bead to get on. But I also have to be careful not to pinch the tube or to tear the rim on the tire, or the bead on the tire. So we're going to try this out here and see if we can get this going here. I want to make sure also that the tube doesn't get pinched inside of the rim. Okay, so I pulled the bead over there, so that's perfect, just like that. So let's spin our tire here. Just making sure the tube is not going on. All right. I had to help press it down in there, but whoops, got it down pretty good here. So let's screw this valve stem nut.
Yep, go.
All right, I've got my nut on here so that way I can inflate my valve stem and inflate the tire. Moment of truth. I don't hear or see any air coming out, so that's good news. Just need to tighten that down there. This is a 12mm bolt on this valve stem. So to finish up here, unclamp the jaws. Just set the tire to the correct PSI and then throw this back on the bike. Again, there's just one bolt through here, and a 14mm and a 19mm bolt to bolt that on. So that was actually a lot easier than times past. This was a harder tire because it just seemed like it had a really stiff sidewall and not a lot of sidewalls. So this would be really hard if I was just using my spoons only. The machine worked pretty good, and it looks like I didn't damage the tube, which I've done pretty much every time I've tried it on my own. Every time I tried it on my own and tried to do the spoon method, I have like 8 spoons, because I'd take like 8 spoons and then I'd finally try pulling it over and I'd pull it over and break the bead or something. And so this is a lot easier method, so I'm glad that this worked out pretty good, pretty straightforward with the machine. But obviously these machines, not everyone has one of these, but I'm grateful that I do, and I can do motorcycle tires on it. These adapters help quite a bit because I was able to just clamp the rotor. I didn't have to worry about clamping the rim, because the rim, there's not a lot to clamp here, and it's worked out pretty good. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully this was helpful. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, and hit that thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.